Hey, what's going on, RC drivers? Welcome back to the channel. I know there's a ton of motor and speed controllers out there for the crawler market, and deciding on one is kind of difficult. I mean, there's just so many options out there, and then motor options, and do you go brushless or brushed, censored or sensorless? I mean, the options are really overwhelming, especially to new people in the hobby. And there's some people in the hobby that just want to drop something in that they know is going to work well and that they can have fun with. And I'm kind of at that point myself. I mean, I just like to throw things in that I know are gonna work, and I enjoy the drive, or I tune my driving style to, the product that I'm using. But, again, if you're just looking for something simple, if you're ready to upgrade, or you're building a kit, or maybe a kit that, has specific requirements, this new system might be one you wanna check out. This is the Spektrum Firma 2-in-1 brushless system. Now, why is it a 2-in-1 system? Because it actually has a speed controller integrated into the motor. Now, I know there's other companies out there that have similar systems like this. Hobbywing has a system like this, and Spektrum does work closely with them, so a lot of the features that you see in a Hobbywing setup will be in this as well. Let's just call it as we know it here, but there are a few differences that maybe really stand out to you, and that's why you want to go with a Spektrum system. Now let's start off with what comes in the box. These are the two different variations that are available right now. There's a 1400 kV and a 2300 kV. This is the 1400 that I pulled out of the box, but you can see nice looking motor. Everything's already pre-soldered. Also in the box is a simple instruction manual that walks you through the different settings that are there, setting it up in your vehicle. There's also two-sided tape and a couple of zip ties because the wires are fairly long on here, and once you get in your car, you're going to want to zip tie them nice and neat so they don't get caught up in anything. But here's the motor itself again. I mean, it's a compact setup here. This is basically a 550 size can, and the motor is in the bottom portion of the can, and the speed controller is located in the top here. It's got your classic Spektrum look to it. We got orange end caps, black center sections, Spektrum logo all over this thing, and then on the end plate here is where you can see the 1400 kV and the part number as well. So if you want to see what your buddy's running maybe in the crawler, you can just look at the end plate there. But everything is already pre-soldered for you. We've got an IC3 connector on there, your standard signal wire, and it doesn't have the little Futaba tab on there, so it will pretty much plug into any receiver out there. And then it has this on-off switch, and it's a pretty heavy-duty on-off switch. Multiple wires coming out, because this is also your program port. So this is a programmable speed controller as well. There's a lot of different features that you can go and program, such as drag brake and drag strength. But again, great looking compact package here that I'm already thinking about what cars to put it in, and I think I'm gonna put this 1400 kV in this Bronco here, but the 2300, I think I'm actually gonna go and put this in my Element Gatekeeper, because that's a platform that is kind of a compact platform, and right now I have the speed controller on the front top plate because I did IFS conversion. But the long story short is it's a small area in that particular vehicle, and that's where a small compact setup such as this could really come in handy for a lot of builders. Now let me just talk about a few of the features that make this thing special. It has a FOC, field oriented control, which basically means there's a sensor in there that determines where the rotor is in relationship to the stator in there. And when you're out there driving, it electronically figures out how much power input to give to maintain a certain speed. So it's going to have a nice smooth throttle feel to it. That's one thing that these things are known for, is just maintaining a smooth throttle control, whether you're crawling over an obstacle or going up a hill, going down a descent. It maintains the RPM and the torque. It's also got a one-to-one feel to it. So when you pull a little bit on the throttle, the motor is going to move the vehicle forward a little bit. The other thing that I was going to spoil before was it does have a BEC in there that is switchable. So it comes set up for 6 volt. I believe it comes set up for 6 volt, but you can switch it to 7.4 volts. So if you've got a 7.4 volt servo in there, you would want to make that switch. And as I mentioned, everything is programmable through the Spektrum V2 version of their program card. So that is a aftermarket purchase. It doesn't come with this, but you'll be able to go ahead and tune all the functions, like drag brake as well. So it's got drag brake strength to it. You would be able to go in and tune that. And the other nice part about having the programming card is you can go and update the firmware. So this is an updatable unit as well. So, I mean, you know, it's a compact system, it's an all-in-one system, but it is tunable. Now, this system is also waterproof and dustproof and ice cream proof and everything else proof. Got a nice rubber boot around the wires here and everything. There's 3mm holes at the end, 1/8 shaft, which is your standard shaft size for most 1/10 vehicles. So this will drop into, you know, things beyond just an axial, beyond Element RC vehicles. So again, it's a nice universal system, and you know, with these two motor variations, it gives, you know, you more options beside what's already out there on the market. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and bolt one of these up, bolt up this 1400 kV into the Bronco here, and we'll take it out for a quick drive and we'll see how it works. All right, drivers, I got the Spektrum Brushless System bolted up into the Bronco there. I did have to go and buy a receiver because the Bronco comes with the 2-in-1 unit where it has the receiver speed controller combo. So I just bound the new receiver to the radio, and we're pretty much good to go. There are a couple little setup things that I'm gonna talk to you about later, but let's just go take this thing for a crawl now. So I've been having a really good time testing out this new Spektrum Brushless system. The low speed on this is phenomenal. This is me working the throttle right now, and I just have my other finger resting up against the trigger so it doesn't move it. It's just so you can see how smooth this is. And I guess I could turn up the throttle trim too, maybe when I get over these rocks here. There we go. Just love the articulation on this Bronco. Looks really good. But here, I'll stop it for a second. And I'll turn up the throttle trim just so it's moving the throttle. There we go. Check out how slow
That car is crawling right now. Really awesome. Look at that. I mean, you can put this radio down, walk away, come back 5 minutes later. It'll probably only move like 10 feet. Look at that, nice and smooth. I am not touching the throttle at all, just working the steering a little bit. Grinding on the axle right now. But look how it's pretty smooth. Now what I did notice is when it does get over some of the larger rocks, I think I'm hung up. I gotta give it a little squirt here. There we go. When it does come over the bigger rocks, there is a little bit of a lurch where I think the electronics, the sensor in there is just trying to figure out where the drivetrain is really. It just kind of rocks just a little bit. So that's the only time it dropped. See how it just stopped there for a second when it dropped off that rock? I think it's just a sensor trying to figure out what's going on. But still, that slow crawl is awesome. Now I wanted to show you guys a little descent here, just so you can see the drag brake. Here, let me pull it up to this hill, this drop off here. Then I'll just back down, just give it just a little bit of throttle. As you can see, nice and smooth. That's pretty scale, pretty awesome. And the descent is smooth there. I think it's just those sudden drop-offs, but it's just giving it a little bit of a stutter. But when there's a load on the drivetrain, a load on the motor, I mean, it just operates so butter smooth. Look at that. A little bit of throttle. There we go. Nice. See it? A little jitter there. But man, I love that low speed crawl. Alright. Let's give it a little throttle now so you can see how fast it is. This is the 1400 kV, and it's got a 3S pack in here, a Spektrum pack. The speed controller can handle 2 to 3S. I don't think I mentioned that earlier on when we were in the studio. But it's a 40 amp speed controller, 160 amp peak. And the other thing that I wanted to point out to you guys is it is not smart compatible. It does not have the sensor wire in there, so you wouldn't be able to utilize that, but you can use the program card to go and tune this thing. All right, guys, let's head back to the workshop and we'll wrap up this review.
I think the Spektrum system has found a permanent home in my axial Bronco. I really like the low speed feel of the system. It works really well with the style of this rig, and then the braking power is really good as well. A great strength to it, great holding power when going down the descents. Really like the feel of the system overall. Now, the one thing I did want to talk to you guys about is the setup, and that is that when you do go and put it in your vehicle, you will have to go through a calibration process. It's not auto sensing, so you just got to set your neutral point, your forward point, and your braking point. And then after that, you need to figure out if it's going in the right direction. So the motor comes set up out of the box going counterclockwise, and with the Bronco, it requires a clockwise rotation of the motor. So if that's something that you're going to experience as well, where you need a clockwise rotating motor, you will need the programmer to do that. You won't be able to just push any buttons to reprogram the rotation of the motor. It all has to be done through here. So just something I wanted you to be aware of in case you're picking one of these up. You may have to pick this up as well in order to tune that. And then, you know, the benefit is you will be able to go and set your braking as well and anything else, like the BEC voltage. You can do that through here as well. So it might be beneficial to just pick this up anyway. But again, overall, really like this system. Nice and compact, great feel to it. And I think it's a worthy system to consider if you're looking to upgrade from a brush motor setup or looking to swap out another brushless motor system. So let me know what you think of the new Spektrum system in the comments section below. While you're there, please hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw the video a like, and we'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.